Hey everyone, this is Ronin Ros, here with another video for Legendary Game of Heroes. In this video I'm going to be talking about defender teams and how to set one up, and what's the basic strategy for developing defender team, and any pertinent advice related to that. So hopefully you've seen my other video that kind of goes over the very basic overview of how to do Guild Wars. If you haven't, I would definitely recommend checking that out. So for defender teams, I'm going to start with for players who are starting out, I wouldn't be too worried about what kind of defender team you have, because when you're starting out, you're going to have a low power defender team. Okay, what do I mean by power? Power comes from the stats that a card has. Okay, and you'll see what it says on the back of the card. It says Guild War power. So this card has a power of 15,421. So that 15,421 is reflective of the actual stats the card has, and Wardens do have a higher Guild War power than regular cards. Okay, but they're representative of the card, and they also, for your defender team, will take into account the power level of your hammers. So my hammers added together, plus that 15,000, give this first card that I have 34,800. So most of the power actually comes from the hammers. When you're starting out, you're going to have kind of low, just a low power team, and that team is going to be beaten by most players. So it really doesn't matter what order you put them in, and whether you're using wardens or not, because your team is going to be very weak, and you should put more focus into developing your ability to attack other players and getting those 5 kills. So what should you do in the meantime for defender teams? You should work on the hammers. Okay, your first goal in Guild Wars as defender is to acquire 5 exultant hammers, 5 6-star hammers. Okay, let me show you what the exultant hammer looks like. You can always filter your relics by GvG defender. Okay, these are the exultant hammers. They're 6-star hammers. Okay, they are the first step to becoming a very strong hammer, a specialized hammer. Maybe you have one of these potent hammers or even lower, or you have a pristine hammer. When you get to rank 50, you're going to be able to do the Forge boss, which gives you a free exultant hammer. Sometimes you get these in the silver trials, sometimes, and if you're VIP, you'll get one eventually. If you're doing the Heavenly Spire, they can also drop some of these items as well. It's just a little bit random. You can also evolve them. I actually would not evolve the potent hammer, the 4-star one, just because you're really going to have a lot of opportunities for you to get pristine hammers. You know, I didn't buy any of these, I just got them. And I've actually sold and used a lot to power other cards. So it's just something that over time you will acquire. It's probably okay to try to level up the pristine hammer into the exultant hammer. The main thing you're going to find that you're needing, besides the golem heart that costs 400 dust, is this thing, this guardian diamond. Okay, and you can find that in the gear dungeon by using gear coins, but it is kind of a long process, and you do need to acquire a lot of those. If you are able to do Heavenly Spire and also some of the gold trials, you'll be able to drop a lot more of these, and then you'll be able to have more to use to level up your hammers. Okay, and because all the levels of the hammers use those, I would definitely recommend just saving those, maybe for the 5-star to 6-star evolution, and definitely not to evolve the 4-star hammers to 5-star. So the first step for players beginning is to have a warden team, have a defender team, and to work on their hammers. So I said before not to worry about your defender team, but you might still be wondering, well, what should I do? They can't be empty. I would choose the 5 heroes that you have that have the strongest power. So you just sort your cards by power and pick the 5 that are the strongest. Mine obviously are wardens because I have them. The next most powerful card is the ultimate cards. Maybe you don't have any ultimate cards. The next more powerful card for me That's not an ultimate or master card. Master hero card is this card, Bacon Baron, who is a main event card. He has 5,192 power. His defender skill is Fear, level 6. So I would have popped him in as a defender. Again, it's not super important because your team is going to be defeated whether you have a new Warden or an ultimate card, because your total power is probably low. And if your hammers aren't strong, they're not getting boosts, and you're going to be defeated very easily. So don't stress about it. Just keep working on the hammers, and when you get 5 Exultant Hammers, then you can reach the next step of developing your defender team. The next step for developing your defender team is to pick one color. Okay, so what color do you pick? Well, all the colors have their pros and cons. There are different wardens for each one. And I can tell you, in the current meta for Guild Wars, all the defender teams out there right now can be defeated. So there's really no color that's necessarily better than the others. I would pick one that you like, because that's always a good idea. Or if you want to be strategic, look at your warden collection, okay, sorting your cards by event skill, warden, and see what kind of wardens you have the most of. Particularly, what kind of wardens do you have the most new wardens for? Newer ones have higher power than the older ones, much higher power. It's very noticeable. So, if you look here, Bog Beast Krogan, which isn't even that new anymore, has 4,004 power at 5 stars. Consider that Vixen here, who was a Fennec from an old event, who I've actually even awoken. I actually have awakened it once, and it's 6 stars, and it's only 3,535 power compared to 4,000 at 5 stars. Huge difference. Okay, so see what color you might have the most new wardens for, and that could guide you in figuring out what to use, because that would be a good way to get ahead in developing your warden team, because then you already have several of some color if you don't have a personal preference. Another thing that consider for choosing color is if do you have any duplicates of the cards. You can see here some of these cards I have 2 of, and why that's important is because then you can evolve both of them and either use both of them, or for example, I have Nimue, Queen of Blood. I could evolve both of those and use both of them because they both have Power Gem Silence, which is a good defender skill. Or I can use one to awaken the other, which is usually what I do. And then you don't have to use a Wisp. When you awaken, you get more stats, gets more power, it's stronger. So if you have a lot of duplicates, that's already setting you up to have a very good warden who you can awaken many times without using those very valuable Wisps. So besides that, just choose a color that you're interested in, and then from there you would work on your Exultant Hammers and evolve those Exultant Hammers into Mauls by getting the appropriate evolution catalysts, okay, which you can see from the Exultant Hammer screen if you scroll down. They all require the enchanted runes. They require 2 of the golden hearts, more guardian diamonds. Again, that's another reason why you don't want to use them for those lower level hammers, because you need even more of them. You need 5 for every maul. Okay, and at the point where you're choosing color, that's when you're gonna evolve your hammers into mauls. So once you say, okay, I want to have a dark defender team, and I already have 5 6-star hammers, then I'm going to start acquiring just dark wardens, so that I can have 5 really good ones, and then you can start evolving your hammers into dark mauls, and that's when your defender team is really going to start actually becoming something really strong. Hopefully along this way you've been acquiring cards and decks, and you can play the gold trials in the legend trials that are in between events, and that's where you will be able to acquire the materials to evolve the mauls, you see here, into the cudgels. Okay, you have to be able to defeat the gold trial boss. They can be very difficult. They do require a lot of strategy. I'm not going to go over the strategy in this video. But that's where you're going to get the materials to evolve the mauls into the cudgel, which is the strongest kind of hammer available. And actually, my advice is only when you get the cudgel should you really be using XP orbs to power up these hammers, because those orbs are pretty rare. They can also be used for event relics that will help you and make your gameplay more enjoyable. So to just use them for these hammers, you're not going to get a lot of use out of them. Definitely not from the Exalted hammers. The mauls, it might help you, but you're going to see the most use by leveling up your cudgels. Now, if you max level your dark maul, then it's going to be a max level dark cudgel. So or I might have to put you have to put some more levels in there because it is a stronger level. So, but you know, it's a lot of resources to put into a hammer that is only going to help you in Guild Wars. I think it's more useful to put that stuff into event cards. But definitely keep that in mind that at some point you're going to have to use some of these experience orbs to power up your Guild War Defender team. So that leaves us to figure out, well, what kind of defenders do I want? When you're starting out, just pick the highest power, like I said. It doesn't really matter if they're wardens or event cards. They're probably going to be event cards in the beginning. But in the end, your eventual goal is to get wardens. And that's because wardens already have a higher Guild War power than regular cards. And additionally, wardens have the ability to have defender skills that can become level 10. Okay, while event cards, their defender skills are always level 6. What does that mean? A defender skill, so here, Gem Silence, is what the defender will do when you let him or her attack you. Okay, when you let it attack you, we'll just say. So here, if I don't kill this warden when I'm attacking it, and then the next turn, it will put Gem Silence on my cards, and then I won't be able to use any cards that create gems, which means I pretty much will die, because there's most cards out there make gems, only nuke cards don't make gems, and you'll most likely not be able to survive. So you actually don't want that skill to be put on you, which actually means that that is a very good defender skill. The level of the defender skill tells you the chance that it's going to put it on your cards. Okay, so the highest you can go is level 10. And if sometimes you will have a card that says counter skill Gem Silence, meaning I can dispel Gem Silence, but they have set it up so that the defender skill can always be higher than the dispel cards. Okay, so the highest dispel that I could have is 9, which is actually a warden. So the highest level of counter for Gem Silence that I could possibly have is only level 9. But if I ascend a warden, I can get a level 10 Gem Silence, meaning I can still, most of the time, still put Gem Silence on the person attacking me. And so that means the strategy will never be to try to dispel that. So anyways, only wardens will have the ability to get to level 10, and that's why they're also superior to regular cards when you're choosing defender. Anyways, what skills to choose? There are certain defender skills that are better than others. The ones that are very good in the meta right now, and probably will be for time to come, are Gem Silence, Power Gem Silence, Counter Attack, Fear. This is in no particular order besides maybe Gem Silence, which I consider to be the most useful defender skill. And then when you're kind of in that mid-range of developing your cards, so like when you have mauls, when you're maybe in that 80 to 100,000 range, and that's kind of where all your competition is. Alacrity is still good. That stops turn delay cards. Flatline can be good. It stops cards that have revive skills in the card. It doesn't stop anybody who has a relic that helps them revive. But those cards can be good earlier on. but definitely Power Gem Silence, Counterattack, Fear. These are rather difficult cards to get over when you don't have the appropriate decks. Okay, so those are things to keep an eye out for, and if you are trying to acquire a Warden team and you get to pick up some Wardens with them, even if they're older Wardens, don't sell those cards because maybe you'll want to use them because they might be your only option to have those rather useful skills. So hopefully that was a good general overview of how to set up defender teams, and what to do when you're kind of starting out, kind of in the middle, and at the end, and kind of what are the benchmarks to look out for. So again, in the beginning, when you're just starting out, don't stress over this kind of stuff. Work more on your attacking skills. Try to get those 5 Exalted Hammers. Work on the materials to evolve in the mauls. Choose a color that you like. Acquire Wardens for that color. And then acquire Wardens for that color that have good skills. Play the gold trials. Try to evolve the mauls into cudgels. And then you'll have a team like this. And actually, I didn't even really awaken a lot of these cards until much later on. So I wouldn't even spend those wisps trying to awaken those Wardens until you're pretty sure that that's the team that you're going to roll with for a long time. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, you can drop a question in the comments, or try to find me in the game, or ask some of the helpful folks in the player advice chat. And I'll be doing some more on other aspects of Guild Wars and the attacking decks. If you'd like to see more content like this, let me know. Again, this is Ronin Ros, and thank you for watching.